Well, we're well and truly into summer here as the second week of December in Merimbula. The weather's heating up, the flats are heating up, and the fishing's certainly heating up. G'day guys, Jamari here with this week's Boss Outdoor Fishing Report. So with these warmer days we've been having, that sun hitting the shallower water on the sand flats on all the systems up and down the south coast. There's actually a big school of mullet behind me here on the flat along the jetty that I'm walking on. There's trevally with them, there's a few whiting, and there's even some big blackfish cruising around. So the fish are up on the flats and they're making the most of that warmer, shallower water up near the edges. Not just the Merimbula system, the Bega River up towards Tathra, producing some good whiting. Adam Harris actually got up there with Dave, two staff members here at Boss. They got up there and actually caught a couple whiting on topwater lures. So it's an awesome sight fishing sort of scenario, you know, casting lures along the flats and then that sort of walk the dog action along the shallow water and watching whiting come out and smack it. It's a really visual form of fishing. So get out there and chase a few whiting. So not just whiting in the Bega, Adam did actually get after a few nice bream as well. Those prawn presentations have been working really well. The new Baramba lures stinger shrimp was accounting for a couple of fish, and those prawn presentations tend to do well as we come towards summer. Like I mentioned last week, the prawning's really taking off. We're approaching new moon towards the end of next week, I think. So start dusting off all the prawning gear, and it's definitely time to get after a few prawns. They are in the systems. They're not that proper big size yet, they're still that sort of smaller, perfect for your bait fishing size. All the people who love collecting prawns for bait, now's the time. So get after a few prawns, and yeah, there's plenty of fish out there feeding on them. The bream, trevally up and down the channel here in Merimbula, and the flathead as well. Everything loves a prawn. So once again, like the last few weeks, the top lake up in Merimbula here has been accounting for quite a lot of fish. We've had plenty of customers come in the shop and say that it's been fishing really well. Flathead along the weed edges, some better fish up towards that 700 mil length, and plenty around that sort of 50-60 centimetre mark as well. So it's great to see some flatties moving around. Trevally along the weed edges as well, and down into the channel here between the bridge and Spencer Park's been really fishing really well. And a gurnard. So Adam Harris got up there a few days ago and pulled a gurnard out of the top lake. Amongst all the pinky cocky snapper, there's the odd gurnard up there, so that's pretty cool. They're not a common estuary fish. They're usually found out on the flatty grounds, so special capture for our Merimbula top lake. So as far as the flatty grounds go, still fishing really well. So the flathead have been productive for probably the last 2 months now. It's been absolutely world-class flathead fishing. It seems a bit funny to say, but boats bagging out within an hour. So you have to get up early. That northeasterly wind, the typical summer wind, is here, and it has been hitting the water pretty early. So from about 9 o'clock onwards is borderline unfishable just because that wind does get up. But the people that are getting up and fishing that window are bagging out on fish is within 40 minutes to an hour. So multiple fish are dropped in that sort of 35 to 40 metre range, and some tiger flathead in the mix as well, and the odd gurnard. So get out there and catch a few flatties. So the beach fishing's been relatively difficult the last few days, not because there's no fish, but because there's lots of weed up and down the beaches. Specifically along Main Beach here has been very weedy. It doesn't mean that there's no fish there, it's just very difficult to fish through because your line's often getting caught on weed. However, there's plenty of salmon moving up and down the beaches. They're not seeming to hold in the gutters as such like we normally see this time of year. Lots of big packs of moving fish. So if you do happen across one and spot a school, 100% throw lures in there, they will eat, but they're not holding in the gutters as they usually do. So look for those moving schools. Don't anchor yourself in a gutter as such, more just kind of be vigilant using your polarized sunnies and spot those darker patches, which are salmon schools moving up and down the beach. So it's not all just seaweed and salmon on the beaches. There's plenty of sharks getting around, but don't be too concerned. They're just little ones. So Logan Walker, our youngest staff member here at Boss Outdoor, is going to run you through his shark rig, fishing out of the boat but very close to the beach down in the bay in Eden. Let's shoot straight to Logan now.
We want to talk you through the shark rig we're using to catch sharks lately. So we've got, starting off, it's like a floating sharp rig with like a barrel swivel to like a 200-pound wire with an EVA float, and to keep it off the bottom, we're using the float so it keeps it off the bottom so we're not having heaps of weight on our lines. It's pretty weighty where we are. And then we got just putting an 8/0 eagle claw hook on it and then crimping that like that to make sure, and
Camera.
it's like a circle hook to ensure maximum hook set.
Thanks for that, Logan. It's definitely a very well improvised rig, and it definitely does work. Here's some photos to show the proof that Logan can definitely catch a shark. Well, that's really making me want to fish. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. There's whiting on the flats right now as I'm speaking. Well, that's a wrap for this week's Boss Outdoor Fishing Report, guys. If there's anything else you need to know, whether it's fishing, camping, boating, or anything else outdoors, come in store, see the boys so we can hook you up.